above pattern altitude, and we weren't getting any light gun signals from them. 4th of July of 2017, went up with a friend of mine who also had just recently gotten his private pilot's license, and we just went up just to go goof around and fly over. Took off out of Deer Valley and went to go fly over Lake Pleasant and just mess around, just go fly, just because why not? And so we flew directly over to Lake Pleasant. So battery did not last very long, because we did a couple turns over Lake Pleasant, and then all of a sudden the GPS starts to flicker, and so we obviously check the amp meter. Are we charging or not? And it was showing slightly below zero at that point, I believe. And so we messed with the alternator, troubleshoot a few things. GPS is flickering, and then we lost the GPS, and then we obviously turn around, start heading back over towards Deer Valley, which is not too far away. And literally as quickly as the GPS starts flickering and goes, the radios start flickering, start getting pretty scratchy, and then we lose the radios. Luckily, it was during the day, so obviously lost the lights as well, but it didn't make much of a difference because it was daytime anyway. But so then we're thinking. I mean, again, super low time. It was scary to an extent, but at the same time, you kind of the procedure, so okay, I'm going to come back in. They've planned for scenarios like this, so you squawk 7600 for lost radios, and then for no radios, we tried to make a couple radio calls to explain the situation, but didn't get through to anybody. The radios had already lost enough power, and so your heart's racing a little bit, but again, we knew the procedure. They have procedures in place for this, obviously, because you can't count on every single communications radio to always work perfectly 100% of the time. So, obviously, light gun signals, they teach you about that in your private pilot training and all that kind of stuff. And so we then start flying back over towards Deer Valley, climb up to 1,000 feet above the pattern altitude, and start circling, waiting for them to shoot the light gun at us. And we weren't getting anything. We circle 2, 3, 4 times. We're above the pattern altitude, and we weren't getting any light gun signals from them. So we're thinking they're not noticing us or something, and maybe didn't notice it on the transponder. So use all available resources that you have. We're not at too high of an altitude for cell phones to not work, so I figure I might as well shoot a text to my dad and say, hey, we lost all electrical, we lost communications nav, the whole deal, and so can you call Deer Valley Tower and let them know there's an aircraft with lost electrical circling around the pattern. They need light gun signals to come in and land. And so sent him the text. He says, yeah, I'll get on the phone with them. He called them, and shortly after that, then we get the green light to come into the pattern, circle down into the pattern. Obviously, if you get the red, then you're not going to be clear to land. But the whole time, I guess wasn't too busy in the pattern, and so basically it was a steady green all the way around. We come in and land, and it ended up being, the issue was not a bad alternator, but it was a frayed ground wire, and so we just lost. It was a bad ground wire that basically it sucked all the energy, and we were running off of battery power. So it was just, as long as that battery was going to last, that's how long we'd have electrical. And obviously lasted to the point where we were over Lake Pleasant, and then everything quit on us. And so it was nerve-wracking, because that's your first kind of emergency scenario, that 70, 80, 90 hours, whatever it was. But at the same time, that's what you're trained for. They have procedures in place for it. I was up there with a friend of mine who also had his private pilot's license, so we have 2 pilot minds up there to troubleshoot the issue and to figure out, okay, what are we going to do from here? And it ended up, thankfully, being more of a non-event. We came over, circled around a little bit, went in and landed, and then obviously addressed the issue on the ground. But that's thus far the main emergency scenario that I've experienced. Thank God, but I'm sure there will be, in this career, you're going to experience a lot of other ones. So just have the proper training going into it, have the procedures fresh in your mind, reviewed, and when it happens, then address it as necessary.
Hey gang, here from Hangar Talk. Thank you so much for plugging into the channel, liking, subscribing. We appreciate all you continuous subscribers, and we can't wait to see you on the next one.